What is good, guys? Matt from Duality Gaming here, giving you a video of talking about handhelds versus mobile gaming and kind of my experience of it so far. Now, I own a PSP, a 3DS, I've owned a Game Boy, I've owned multiple Game Boys actually, and two DSs and PSP, and I'll get a Vita eventually. And I'm going to compare that to my experience of mobile gaming. And I know there's a lot of videos that have kind of done this, but I feel like I'm just going to give my own take and whatnot. Now, I own a Samsung Galaxy Note 4, and it's the best phone I've ever owned, hands down, without a doubt. And I also own an iPad. So I've got a bit of experience on both sides. The only thing really before I get truly into the video is it's so much of a nightmare to record any of these motherfucking things, I swear. I don't know what's harder to record between mobile or handheld, seriously, because I know the 3DS you have to fucking send it off, and I know with the PSP you were able to at one point record it off the computer, but that software got blocked. And my first and biggest point in terms of handheld gaming versus mobile is that handheld gaming has buttons. You don't get that in mobile gaming. Now, I know someone may throw the PlayStation phone or whatever it was called at me. Obviously, that thing died very quickly. The main point, really, of mobile gaming, or the main drawback, is you can't have these dedicated games like big production value games or lengthy games, or whatever, purely because you don't have the buttons. You don't have physical buttons. You have virtual buttons, and which is okay for stuff like Temple Run and just those endless runners and Angry Birds and Candy Crush, and you kind of get the idea. But for stuff that they try and force upon you in terms of like what you kind of need a button for, like GTA, which I know is paid, Chaos Rings, Nova 3. Oh, what was the other game that just slipped my mind? Dead Trigger 2. Now, all those games, at least the entire time I played those games, I felt like I needed a button. I needed buttons because the sensation of just pressing a screen did not work for me. And I've played emulators on my phone as well, and it's the exact same. It just does not feel the same. Now, as I said, for certain games they're fine. You don't need buttons, but for these kind of games that where they try and push that, it doesn't work. And I still feel in my heart of hearts that I don't think handheld gaming would die in a sense that a lot of people will think of it as just done. I feel it will be changed and become more niche because I feel like people that go on holiday or long trips or anything like that or can't or shit really long shits or anything like that where just can't be asked to turn the TV on. The handheld is really good because it does give you that experience, and also I feel like the production values on handheld games are better. If you don't believe me, go look at the Vita with Uncharted, compared to and then compare it to any Android game. My point is, people are still going to want that kind of hardcore experience regardless of anything, and the mobiles do not offer that purely because of such a crippling fact of there are no buttons. And in my opinion, the virtual buttons are so much more inaccurate compared to the physical ones. It's a serious put off. And going into the next point in terms of graphics, now this is a very hard thing to talk about in terms because there are so many games, and I know there are a lot of games now that are coming to the point of almost console standard, depending on your machine. I've played a lot of iPad games that have looked quite close to what PS3 has looked at times, but at the same time, it drains the fuck out your battery, and that's really it. And I still maintain that the handhelds still have better production because they have more of a budget. They have more of a, well, I want to say a market, but they just kind of have a better idea of people going to buy it, and they can price it for more. And I feel like the production and graphics, mainly overall, are better in the handheld side of things. So at the moment, if we were scoring this, it'd be 2-0 to handhelds. And I know that's kind of a biased opinion, but I'll come into other things later on. So from a graphics standpoint, I still prefer handhelds to mobile, even though I know there are some very good looking mobile games, Modern Combat, Nova 3, Chaos Rings 3. Now, if we look at another way of looking at this, the handhelds have tried to go into, well, not so much 3DS Model Vita, into that kind of realm of trying to bridge the gap between mobile and handheld, and it hasn't really worked. The thing is, with your mobile, it's kind of an all-in-one device, and I can see why people would not be appealed to get a handheld because you'd have two carrying two devices. And I've got an original 3DS, and it's probably one of the most uncomfortable things to have in your pocket because of the weird shaping of it. And you don't want to carry that around with you, with your phone, with maybe your iPad or your laptop, and your books, and whatever else you may carry. I don't know what kind of people listen to my channel. So yeah, from that perspective, I can see why people would want a mobile because of the convenience of it. because you got your text messages, you got your WhatsApp, you got your YouTube, you got your Facebook, you got your games. It's all in one convenient place. Where you do not have that on a 3DS or a PSP or a PSP Vita, or a Game Boy. So from that perspective, utility obviously it would go to mobile gaming purely because it does have that kind of factor of it has everything at once. Um, the next thing which I can't actually read is that there, in my opinion, there are more dedicated games on the handhelds than there are the mobile. Now, let me get what I mean by that. You can put a mobile game on a 3DS a lot easier than you could put a 3DS game on a mobile. You couldn't have Super Mario World on a phone because it just wouldn't work. The amount of buttons that you need, and I don't know about the graphics and whatnot. So from that perspective, I feel the exclusivity is also a good side on the 3DS, and I don't know, that's just me. Another thing, which is I'm kind of almost going on just a really biased thing of handheld. Um, if you buy a game on handheld, you know it's going to work. It's the argument PC versus console essentially, but in a different form. You don't know if you've got some shitty HTC phone looking at you, Darius. You're not always guaranteed that the games that you download on that phone are going to work. So you have almost a PC-like experience on a phone compared to handheld that just works. And at the same time, I can understand why people wouldn't want to get a handheld. Again, back going to usability because you'd be spending more money. So from that perspective, I don't think. In conclusion, really, I'm just making this almost like an essay. I don't feel handhelds are gonna die because I still feel there are a need for them and almost like just kind of a market for them. But I feel the market is shrinking because a lot of people that would casually play it are more likely to get the phones than play a dedicated game or whatever. And to its credit, the games on the Android and iOS are usually more aimed at casual, like 5 minute things. So if you're doing short trips, then obviously that's more your thing, unless you've got other shit to do. So from that perspective, yes, I can see the mobile. I don't think mobile's ever going to kill it because obviously you. I don't know, I reckon that if you played the same amount of time of games on the 3DS as a mobile, the battery would probably die around the same time depending on the phone. But that's just my opinion. I feel I've been enjoying a lot of mobile gaming lately, just how it is. But I still feel there are so many drawbacks to it, which people don't like to admit. Like, yes, the graphics are nice, yes, the convenience is there, but the biggest part of playing a game is the buttons, and you don't have buttons. Now, I get you get third parties, but at the same time, why would you want to spend more money on something and then you've got to still carry it around? Even if it is cheaper, you still got to carry extra shit around. So it's just, I don't see the point. But that is my opinion. Thanks for watching, guys. Tell me what you think below. Check out the Facebook, check out the Instagram. Daily stuff usually goes on there, depending on who we are, and if I don't forget the Instagram password. And have a nice, no, subscribe to the channel, like the video if you liked it. As I said, comment below, giving you your opinion. And as I always say, guys, have a nice day.